Hey there, and welcome back to another casted game. You're going to notice something a little bit different this time. We're actually watching a quick match from Filip14, who sent me the details of this match and said I definitely had to check it out. So, as I've mentioned before, if you want to be awesome like Filip, then make sure you send me the details of any games that you want me to take a look at, even if it's something quick match where you're trying out something fun. If it's interesting, if it's exciting, it doesn't matter what rank it is, we're going to take a look. And we can see that Filip is going very aggressive with the scouting on this Prairie map, and he's going for 3 scouts because, as we all know, Prairie is absolutely teeming with sheep. So he is on the south side in the red, and to introduce our other player we have Whaler Zone in the purple as the Mongols. So if we have a little look at his positioning here, I think this is pretty good. Maybe I would have put it here because it's between both of those wood lines and you would have been able to get both, but having it pretty close to the Uvu is also good defensively. So just the Khan, no double scout or no additional scout coming out for Whaler Zone. And if we check out their field of vision, we can see Filip is going all over the place, so he's just scouted the market at the top, and this is actually a fantastic position for Whaler Zone because it's right along that top edge, so he'll be able to get the most trade if he wants to. Then we've got the other one going around here, and the third one along the back lines here. So for most people, just in case you didn't know, on Prairie often the sheep spawn along the edges of the map, so really if I was scouting this, what I would be doing is going diagonally across the top and then back down, and with my second one also would kind of do the same. So covering those and then going for the center afterwards is better. So actually you wouldn't want to get all of this area, you'd want to go for the edges, because as you can see that's where they're scooping up all of these sheep, including that one in the fog, but we've missed him. So when you're scouting, try not to be so close to the edge because you do miss some of this stuff. So as long as you're within viewing distance of the edge, then that's also fine. If we check over at Whaler's own side, so he's managed to do okay. He's got 8 sheep, so it'll be interesting to see how that compares overall, because if we head over to Filip's side, he's got 8 on one, he's got 9 on another, and then he's also got another 9 up here, so he's doing really well for sheep. So as long as all those sheep make it back, then he's in a really good spot. So talking about this matchup, then we've got the Japanese, who also have gone for berries but no Tawara upgrade as of yet, so maybe that's going to be a quick thing that comes up in Feudal. And oh no, don't deliver the sheep, don't do it. Oh no, I think he decided that having 3 scouts full of sheep was just a bit unfair and decided to gift some. So I think these sheep are going to be turning coats and becoming purple very, very quickly there. So we can see the age up coming through now for Filip, and he's gone for the Kura Storehouse, which I think is pretty classic. This position's okay because you can get the stone there. Maybe I'd have gone against this wood line because you are going to be wanting to get wood, and on Prairie the wood is much more scarce, so having easy access to that is usually pretty good. I would definitely love to have seen this Tawara in the Dark Age, because if you're going to have a village of berries, then you definitely want to be getting that for that buff, and then you could send these guys over there, especially with the Mongols, because they could tower rush or they can be quite aggressive. They haven't in this case. I would personally go out on berries first and then come back to the sheep as your safe resource, because you've got these scouts with all these sheep, which you definitely need to bring home. Come on guys, this is all the food for the Empire, we need to send it back. And then there's another one over here that has dropped off, so as long as he's not delivering those to the Mongols at the top this time, then we should be okay. We can see over here we've got the silver tree coming up, so we all know what that means. It's trading time, boys. So I would imagine what we're going to see is the silver tree built here and then packed up and shipped all the way over into this nice little tidy spot in the corner, just for that super long trade route all the way over to here. So that's going to be something that Filip's going to have to contest in some way, because as I found out very recently, if you allow the trades to go unnoticed, then you are going to be in a lot of trouble. So we can see the Crystal House is just about to hit up. We can see a load of wood being gathered and 2 on stone, so that's going to do nicely for upgrades. We don't have the Tatara yet, and as we've all seen from the patch notes, that Tatara is actually going to be slightly cheaper as of Season 8. 8, so it'll be really interesting to see how that's used. But as I thought, Feudal straight away, that Tawara has gone straight in, and the specialised pick, not usually the most common choice. I'd expect to go for more of the other eco-techs personally, but because you've only got 2 on, and even 1 on gold now, because you're building a tower, and this tower position is actually pretty good because between the TC and that tower, that gold is pretty safe, and 8,000 gold at this stage is going to keep you going for a very, very long time. So we're just gathering up a load of wood and manning those farms over there, so that's doing a good job for that. So I would have said that the pick upgrade is actually not really necessary because you've only got 2. When you're mining it with, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9, then eventually it will pay off, but usually that's the final eco-tech that I would recommend going for. I'd usually go for double broadaxe first, because if we look, we've already got 4 and we're still rallying over to the wood there, so this tech would be much more useful. So if we check out here, there's a spear going for the scout, and we can see a barracks has come up and a couple of spears coming out to defend. And looking at the little castle that's moving across the map, we've got the silver tree moving into position. And if we head over to Whaler Zone's view, can we see where he's putting it up? We can't see anything yet, but we'll just have to wait and see. So no production as of yet for Filip, but he is going for his forestry first. Again, forestry is nice, but you definitely want double broadaxe first, because forestry is actually a tiny little buff. It's relatively cheap, but it's way better to spend your resources on that. So personally, my preferred method for most civilizations would be wheelbarrow first, then double broadaxe if you're going to be doing feudal play or you're going to be getting a load of wood. Then I would be going horticulture if I'm on farms and sheep, and then I would potentially go for the mining one and for forestry. But that's just my personal opinion, because we can see here that Whaler Zone agrees with me. He's going for that wheelbarrow. He's not gone for the improved wheelbarrow, so if we go to the Gur, he could have gone for the improved wheelbarrow that costs 200 stone, so he must be saving that for military, which I think is a pretty good idea. But from what I understand, improved wheelbarrow is actually pretty decent. I can't do the maths because that's not my forte, so I'll leave the mathematics to people with better minds. Silver tree just popping up in the corner and actually looking really nice on this particular biome. I don't think I've ever played a map on it, but it makes me think of the summer and the beach, and I think that's always nice. I really like this little spot here from Filip. He's guarding that trade post and making sure that it's not being used. I would also be very careful of this one at the bottom, because sometimes you will see a cheeky Mongol player sending trade by your base and you're expecting it somewhere else. But now the scout's found the silver tree, he's going to be able to see where those guys come out. And because we can see the hardened upgrade for the samurai come in, we've got some barracks going down. So we're going to be seeing some feudal here from Filip. So quite delayed getting these out. Potentially using all the wood for those upgrades before getting the barracks down has slowed these down a little bit, but now we've got 9 on gold, we're going to see some heavy usage of samurai and honor geisha, I would imagine. We can see the spears have taken out that scout that's guarding that market, so now we've just got to make sure that Filip sees it, but he's seen that first trader come out, so now he knows which direction they're going in. So if we take a look over at Whaler Zone's side, we can see a barracks, stables and an archery range going for the triple comp, and we've got some Keshiks being double produced in queue. So I think this is pretty good because he hasn't seen any spears yet. Getting those double Keshiks that can come in and raid and put pressure on this type of map, especially if you're guarding that trade, is pretty good. I would also love to see some Mangadai, just because I think they're just so fun. And again, in the patch for Season 8, the cost has been changed of these, so it's going to be much easier to mass these up. So I'm expecting that we're going to be seeing a lot more Mangadai from our Mongol friends, or if you're playing against them, our Mongol foes. The spear coming over to guard that trade, and we can see a little stream of units coming over. So we've got a couple of samurai, and we've got a little honor geisha that is sprinting over behind to catch up. So they're going straight over to the trade. They know exactly what their target is. There's a wolf being taken out there by the spears, just so it doesn't bother the trade route that's being set up. And we can currently see that we have 3 traders coming in, and hopefully we're going to be seeing some more in queue. So once the Mongol player gets these pumping, their economy goes absolutely insane. So we can see the samurai and the Onabagation now doing some damage on these spearmen, and unfortunately the spearmen are not going to be able to take this because the samurai are basically men-at-arms. Their deflectability means that they will both resist the first attack anyway, and the Onabagation have that longer range, so they will stay behind and actually be able to hit there, and because of the increased speed they do a lot of damage. So we can see now 11 units have come out. All of the scouts seem to have disappeared from the map, so they've served their purpose of getting sheep and delivering some to Whaler Zone, but we won't talk about those, Philip, don't worry. So now trying to take out the Silver Tree. So this is really nicely done, because what you will see a lot of players do is go like this, and then when it tries to pack up and move, is try and get a surround on it so block it, which we saw Justmed doing in one of my previous casted videos. So if you can get that surround on that landmark and take it out, it's really, really good. But we can see some purple units gathering up. So we've got a couple of spears, we've got an archer, and we've got the Khan heading over with, obviously, with his different abilities. So these abilities can make a massive difference in the fight. But we do have some Keshiks, so they should be heading over. So the whole contingent is coming over, and now they have been made aware of them before the units have massed up. So I think this is a bit of a misplay, a bit of an overextension from Whaler Zone. His army's not together, but Philip's is, and the reinforcements are coming in from behind. So now if we go into the thing, the Khan is down and these units are being taken out very, very swiftly. The Keshiks are coming in and they will be able to do quite a bit of damage, but they're still getting melted by that Onabagation, and those archers need to be target firing these Onabagation down because they don't have that defensive armor. But look how tanky those samurai are, and then another samurai coming in from the back to hit those archers and do some extreme damage. So this is where the Japanese units, and especially the Onabagation with that faster attack and movement speed, are absolutely crazy. So this, I think, that was a massively good fight for Philip there, and definitely a sign where you really want to make sure your front units don't attack any reinforcements unless you are together, otherwise they can turn around and they can hit you all in one go. So now the Silver Tree's packed up again, these traders don't have anywhere to go, no place to call home, and the villager that's came up probably to put a tower to defend is going to be going down. So that's one villager down, and now the military numbers looking a little bit low for Whaler Zone, and going heavily into archers against these samurai potentially could work if you can target fire these Onabagation, but you need something to deal with those armoured units, so more Keshiks are definitely needed. But if we see the resources over at the top here, I think we're going to be seeing a castle age, unless it's some extreme floating going on, like we're on the beach. I think there's going to be a castle age, which is going to be really dangerous to do this while you've got all of these Japanese units knocking at your door. So the Silver Tree now at half health, and yep, as I said it, the Kurultai is coming up, which is in the base, and this means now that all of these resources are going to be hung up in the age up, and these units are still going to be streaming over. So we can see some Onabagation and Samurai now, and Spearmen, which is a really good addition there from Filip against these Keshiks, because then the Spearmen will be able to really target those. Bit of an overextension there, he's probably going to lose these units to the tower and the TC if that's garrisoned, but the Khan has come back in and the fight is being taken here by all these archers. So a really nice position here from Whaler Zone fighting under the TC. You definitely don't want to be taking this fight. There's no reason to stop the Silver Tree going up, and you're just going to be losing all these units. Especially if you see that age up coming through, you want to be making sure that you're denying the gold and denying the resources. And also we can see over in this corner, we'll look when this fight is over, we can see that there are some purple units over here, so scouting out some of these exposed resources will also really help. So obviously we got an Onabagation here waiting for this Silver Tree in case it comes back up, but now it's going to be really important that Filip either transitions into a castle age or he can do enough damage here to hold. But it all depends on how Whaler Zone reacts. He's got the tech advantage. Is he going to make the most of it? We should be seeing crossbows, we want to be seeing castle units, because we got these Samurai and Onabagation and we need to take them out. We've got a ram coming up, and it's all the way over here, so we're really far away position, ready to slowly work its way in, and this will be to take out those towers. So looking at the resources here, we can see that Filip isn't interested in moving to the castle age anytime soon, and we can see from the red dots on the map that he's moving out onto those exposed resources. The military numbers not coming in for Whaler Zone, and he's got a lot of resources in the bank. This can't be an Imperial Age, surely. So hopefully he's going to use these soon to get some units. I really want to be seeing some crossbows, because these samurai are going to be super scary. Men at arms Okay, this could work if you can get enough of them. He's got 15 samurai, so you're going to have to be really careful that you can outnumber them. Otherwise, you're going to be in real trouble because you do have the Onabageisha there as backup, which are being massed up as well. So we can see we've got 2 rams now really going in for it and going in to do that final push, knocking Bambi out the way as we pass on through. So here these guys are coming in, no ranged units as of yet, also no mounted samurai, if because we're not in the castle age, obviously. Excuse my brain, sleep deprivation, sometimes I get the ages confused. It's the Mongols that are in the castle age, not the Japanese, come on guys. So this tower looks like it's going to be going down fairly quickly, and that now it's also going to be targeting down the other one. So hopefully we're going to be seeing these units massing up quickly, and is he going to be adding more production to get those more units out? I think that's what we need. We've also got the silver tree pumping again, so the trade is going, even if they're not the best traders. There's only 11 gold there, but it looks like all of these villagers are going to be taken out, and this is a bit of an overextension there from Whaler Zone. Pulling those villagers to get the rams is okay, but if you lose them all, it's really not worth it. So up to 10 villagers down now, and they're just running away to go back under the Kurultai for healing. So 30 military units now, and those samurai are so scary. We just need crossbows. So all of this wood we need to be converting. We need more food. We need to be using these deer packs. That's what we need. The Kurultai being moved to the front I think is a good position. That's going to allow the army to fight better, but he just doesn't have one at the moment. And another ram going down to do that. I'd love to see the daimyo come in for the Japanese as well, because Filip has enough stone now for his level 1 daimyo, so he definitely wants to be getting that for his farm upgrades. Love to see all of the farms being used, and only 2 farms being blocked by the stone at the moment, so that's not too bad. If we take a look now, that other tower and the Gur have been taken down, and now the ram is going in to take out the Kurultai, and all the villagers being pulled. So this is where I think the ram is actually getting insane value, because it's pulling all the villagers out and they're all just running under those samurai. So if with how much health the Kurultai has, there's just no need to pull your villagers like that at this stage. You want to be massing up your units and spending all of that food that you've got. So now the economy is idle and they're running away trying to get things set up. But you don't need pastures at this stage. You need to spend that food, get those resources. So we've got 1 man-at-arms that's running in, and I don't think he's going to be able to fight 35 samurai. Unless unless he is superhuman, then I think that we all know what's going to happen there. So up to 16 vills, 17, and there's a couple of them being chased away now over to the Kurultai, trying to get that healing, but the samurai doing some absolute carnage in Whaler Zone's base. So I think this is where having this mass of units is really, really scary, and he doesn't have anything to counter it. So now the no food eco from Whaler Zone, he's got no food to spend. He needs to be getting some units out, but I think at this stage it might be where GG is getting called, as the second ram is built literally outside the TC. For Filip, if you are watching this, I would say even if you are winning the fight, probably not the best idea to be building a ram within the TC firing range, just because you'll take damage for no reason. That would be my personal approach. But now all the villagers coming out trying to heal that TC up. We can see some units coming in, men-at-arms, but just crossbows. Crossbows for the samurais, that's what you need. You just want to be getting those out, but you need a mass of them, and no matter how many you get out now, you're not going to be able to take out 38 samurai that are streaming across the map. And if Filip had seen all of these units over on the other side, he'd have been able to basically get the whole economy for the Mongols there. There's a couple of units at the top over here that are getting the trade as well, so that's being disrupted, and Whaler Zone calls it. So I think this is a classic story where aging up to castle when you're being attacked by a Japanese mob of samurai is potentially not the best use of resources. But let's come back in a second and we will review the game. And here we are, just back before GG was called, when Filip was literally rubbing it in his face, building that ram right under the TC. So let's zoom out bring back the interface, and we'll pause it so we don't run out of time. We can take a look at the final state of play. So we spent a lot of time on Whaler Zone's base because that's where the action was happening. So let's head over to Filip's side and see how he's doing things. So he's obviously very heavily mining this gold, which still has a huge amount left. One of the benefits of Prairie, he's also still got a lot of this safe food here, which I think is good. He's moved out over to the berries over here, so that's also nice that he's using some of these open resources as well. We can see that this wood's almost going, so he's going to have to move out onto a different one. So sometimes on Prairie, one thing I like to do is split off these villages a little bit and put a couple on this little wood line, a couple on one of the little wood lines over here, one of these ones, and then you don't get to this point where you have 10 villagers on wood and run out, and then you've got to run them all over everywhere. You've still got that wood income coming in. We've got a lot of gold at the moment, so unless you're planning on using those, I guess we were probably going for a castle age. But if in this case you've got no food and you want to be building samurai, maybe taking some of these villagers off here and putting them on sheep, or going out onto maybe the bottom berries over here, that could have worked really well. The one thing I would say is, if we have a look at the villager numbers at the top, this is something that I think we need to really take into account. Is we're almost 18 minutes in and Filip has 38 villagers, and there's no villagers being taken out by Whaler Zone. So this is, and if we think Whaler Zone's had 17 taken out and he's still got 42, so he's still 4 ahead even with 17 being taken out. So this means that Filip's TC has been very idle during this game, so although his eco is a lot better, if Whaler Zone was the one actually putting the aggression on, his eco would be massively more, including the trade. Obviously we do have those economic units as the traders, so if we take that into account, we've got 7 of those, which means we've got, trying to do maths off the top of my head, 35 villagers. But 17 of those have already been taken out, so we'd want to be seeing a lot more of these. So really focusing on getting those villagers out every single time, that's going to make a huge difference to the eco and how many units you can get on the field. Also, getting the upgrades in the right order, I think, is also really important. So making sure that don't worry about forestry. In most games you don't need it unless you've got the spare gold later, but ideally you want wheelbarrow, you want double broadaxe, and then horticulture, survival techniques, or the mining one, all depend on where you're sending most of your villagers. But really, if you're going to go for feudal, going for double broadaxe and wheelbarrow are your best bets, and then you can just test everything else out. Obviously, as the Japanese, you don't have wheelbarrow, you have the Tawara, but you know you're going to be going for farms, so you definitely want to be seeing horticulture coming out as well. If we take a little look over at Whaler Zone side, he's got this little pocket eco over the side here, which is quite nice. So I did see on his upgrades pop up as I was watching the replay that we did have siege engineering for some reason, so not sure why he got that and he didn't get his other military techs. I think this is potentially a misplay there, especially with all of these melee units. You definitely want to be seeing your level 1 melee defense, so that's something definitely to work on. Also, he's in the castle age, so he can have siege. We don't see any siege because he doesn't have the eco, but there's a lot of wood here and not a lot of food, so I'd have loved to see a load of 8 of these guys pop over and get the boar or get this deer pack, because this eco over here has gone completely unnoticed. So if Filip had been scouting, because he did have 3 scouts and didn't end up using them, and that's one thing, if you're going to go for those extra scouts, you want to keep them alive and keep using them, because if we take a little look at Filip's vision just while we're doing this, we can see the only thing he sees is the base he's attacking. So all of this over here is completely invisible and he doesn't know that that's going on. So one thing that you can do, which I try to remember in my games, is grab a couple of these units and literally just hold A and shift and then just click all of these external food sources on that side, get another couple of units and do the same over here, and they'll just run around and then eventually they'll find something if there's anything there to find. But I think the real problem that Whaler Zone had here was that the trade got stopped quite nicely, and so the trade was moved here, so those traders are really not getting a huge amount of value at the moment. But also, going to Castle Age was a bit greedy when you've got all of those units on your base, and then going for pastures for food I think it's a much slower investment, so it takes a long time to pay off, and so he didn't get units out on the field. And the units he did get, I think potentially for this composition, were very wrong, because you're going for men-at-arms and archers against 37 samurai that have the deflect armor, so the archers are going to do basically nothing, and the men-at-arms are actually, you need to be very, very equal numbers. So actually massing up a load of crossbows and men-at-arms probably would have done the trick, but the eco wasn't quite there. So I think not being able to mass those up and the samurai just getting bigger and bigger really did put a stop to that. But instead of making all of these pastures and going for that, I definitely would have tried to move out onto some of the external food sources, like even the berries over here, because you've got all of these villagers over here that haven't been spotted and could really be pumping that food, and even the gold as well. Going out and mining one of these golds off to the side so that your little proxy base over here can be pumping out units, that definitely would have helped. But under that pressure, the Mongol trade being put off, and that early engagement over in the corner over here where all of the units were streaming in and the Japanese were slowly just melting them on the way through, that really turned the tide of the military numbers. So that really went in Filip's favour. So a really interesting, a really fun quick match, and I hope you all enjoyed the action, and I will see you next time for some more Age of Empires fun.